Pascal Siakam, and OG, and then we're gonna just wipe those guys out and have Will Barton or whatever, Gary Trent Jr., Precious, Boucher, and Koloko now just come in and swap out.
So
I don't know. What are your thoughts?
see, and that's been another thing with the Raptors, which I don't like. I think Nick Nurse very well sucks on seeing a guy go down. Get like I've seen it multiple times. For example, once again, I'll call it Van Fleet. He'll go down, play sucky defense after he just missed a shot, and then come down, turn over the ball again, run down, and then get a foul. I'm like, listen, that's 4 possessions right there. In my book, that's how I look at it. That's 4 possessions that could have been in our advantage that one player gave up. And you're coming off the damn court and wake up. You know what I mean? So I notice he gives guys a bit too much more leash. Let's just put it that way. You know what I mean? I'd be walking with a more tighter leash, basically. And I ain't saying that, hey, if you make a mistake, you're getting taken off. But when possessions are tight, and you know there are Raptor games, I think we've lost probably over 10 games within a 5 or 6 point game. Yes. You know what I mean? And those would be magnificent to have right now where we're standing. So, like I said, does he need to tighten it up a little? I think so.
Welcome, Raptor fans, to another episode of the Raptors in Black and White. We've got Head Swag and, of course, Slang. Eventful week, my friend. We were talking a little bit before we clicked record on this one, but obviously Fred VanVleet is where we got to start. What are your thoughts on, number one, his comments, number two, actual ref behavior in the NBA against the one and only outside of the USA team, the Toronto Raptors?
Well, let's start off with the ref. The ref has gave him, I believe, 8 technicals, and 5 of them have been directly from that same ref. So does he have a bone to pick with VanVleet? I would think there's some sort of love chemistry going on there. Yes, most definitely. But once again, the Raptors, or should I say VanVleet and crew, they like to, how do we say it? A little nitpick sometimes on some calls, I think. But, you know, keep playing the game, guys. You know what I mean? I know after the call, you might think you should have had it, but these guys will stop and then, hey, what do we always see? A 4-on-5 or something. So, yes, does VanVleet get the right to get pissed off? If I had 8 technicals and 5 of them were from that same ref, hello, league, something's going on here. You know what I mean? So, what do you think?
Right. Well, I'm wondering if do you think it's like a chicken and egg thing? I do agree that I think the Raptors complain. They seem to complain. Again, I always caveat it by saying, I don't watch a ton. So I watch a ton of other games, but I'm not watching the same team over and over again, I guess really is my point, to know whether or not, they're guilty as well. But it does seem to me that the Raptors, even against who we play, there are some players that are seem yippy, but, Fred VanVleet definitely seems to question a bunch of calls. Scotty Barnes has turned it into almost his move. Like after he has either scored or not scored, he seems to turn to the refs, and as he's running back, give them a wincing face like, how come I didn't get a call? Which is annoying. Pascal's not quite as bad. Let me think who the heck else is there. Yeah.
Like you said, though, even with Scotty Barnes, but that energy, like you said, when you keep nitpicking at the refs, hey, just like you said, when it gets, if you thought it's annoying, if you're a ref, what do you think he is thinking?
Yeah, he's like, right. You know what? I'm sitting in my living room drinking an iced tea, and these guys are sitting there as their job, getting questioned over and over again. So you start to wonder if it's a chicken and egg situation that they're creating. But do you think that see, I've been a Raptor fan since day one. I was at the first game, and I know you've been a fan since day one also, because we were all, fans of other teams.
We balling.
Or Toronto had a team. Yeah, I remember when sadly we used to have to cheer for another city's team because we didn't have one of our own. And so I feel that the refs have kind of always been a little anti Toronto. Maybe it's anti-Canada. It's probably just as simple as not the USA. I don't think they necessarily have a reason to, go after Canadians. I can relate to this quickly. I'll give you a little quick anecdote. Being a Blue Jay fan, even I remember when they won the World Series, there seemed like there was a lot of like from the States, like what the heck. And I can relate as I was in Regina for the Grey Cup when Calgary played the Baltimore, whatever the heck they were called back then. I know they started as the Colts, but I think they got sued and had to change their name to something else. But anyway, the Baltimore CFL team, and I was cheering for Calgary because I lived in Calgary for a little bit and I had Calgary season tickets, so I knew the team. And Doug Flutie was still playing for them and whatever. But when they lost, there was more of an overwhelming feeling like, oh my gosh, an American team just won the Grey Cup. Like, what the heck?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was a weird and unexpected feeling. Like I wasn't even during the game thinking, let's not let the American team win. I was just cheering for Calgary because that was my team I knew.
That's right.
But it surprised me afterwards. And actually, a little funny thing happened. My brother's friend that was with us at the game. I'll leave his name out of it. But we went to pose because they let you on the field afterwards, and he went to do I went to pretend like I was catching a pass in the end zone, and he just went to block me like he was a defensive back. But he jammed his thumb like right into my wide open eyeball, and I'm telling you, like it killed. Actually, it was this one because I remember. I went this way and he blocked me. But my eye was watering so badly it would not stop. Like, you got it right on the eyeball. But the funniest thing was, a couple people consoled me. They were like, "It's okay, it's okay. Yeah, a Canadian team will win it again next year." My eye was like in some. So anyway, sorry, that was way too long of a segue. Pardon me, or a sidetrack there, side note. But yeah. Do you think that they're biased against Canadians because we're the only un-American team?
I call it cross border tension. There's definitely some there. These guys we got refs coming from who knows where, Pennsylvania, LA, this, that. They're coming to the land of the North and it's cold. They got to come with a passport. Remember, when they're in American land, they don't got to travel with all that. So I think with all that, and then being that, hey, we're the only existing team outside of the US, there must gonna be some tension, a little bit of tension from somebody somewhere. You know what I mean? But do we make that overhang us? I think we just, like when Kawhi was here, hey, sweep it underneath the rug and make the game speak for itself.
Yeah, I do think that Kawhi has one of the best attitudes out there for sure. And it's funny enough, these last few games that we're talking about were not in Canada. But yes, I totally agree. It's funny. You do definitely hear even the announcers, the commentator guys talk about having to go through customs when they come up here, and all that stuff. So there could be some animosity built up. But speaking of Kawhi, I want to just crowbar in that Clippers game specifically, and I know we'll jump back maybe and just talk about the Nuggets game when we get a little bit further ahead to talk about tonight's Nugget game, because I think they would have won that game had Scotty Barnes not been suddenly kicked out of the game with one tech. That was crazy. But the Clippers game specifically, I also get upset with the non-calls. Like, it's not just the calls against the Raptors. Kawhi Leonard, our friend, yours and mine, and sadly he gets even more highlighted when he's on TV because I think my wife is, let's just say she comments once in a while on how in shape Kawhi is. And I think she's looking a little too hard sometimes. Like,
yeah, you got it. You're like, you know what? Bedtime.
Right. So then I'm watching Kawhi, is my point. And I saw there was an absolute double dribble. He was like in the low post and he picked up the ball for at least 3 seconds. It might have even been more, 4.5. And then proceeded to dribble around OG. Like OG had him nicely pinned there with nowhere to go. Because he was he was close to the out of bounds line. So it was like he couldn't really go under the rim. But he just picked up his dribble again and went around OG this way. And OG's looking. Now, that time I thought it was justified. OG's looking at the ref going, this guy just he totally double dribbled. And Kawhi is a hard enough person to stop. If you're gonna
That's
let,
right.
yeah, if you're gonna let him break the rules, it's gonna be impossible. I mean, if I was allowed to go out there and double dribble and travel, I could score some buckets.
Like, I was just about to tell you, and see, LeBron gets that. I was even watching something on IG showing LeBron taking 3 steps all the time, and I'm saying once again, when you have not superstar, megastar status, hey, once in a while you could get away with one of those, but the game's about show and prove. You know what I mean? And you're the Raptors. You're this team that's on the outside of, like I said, U.S. soil. Okay, you just won a championship within the last 3 years. Hey, guys are going to be poking the beer once in a while, most definitely.
Sure. No, I know. Yeah, but it's frustrating when it's multiple times. Like Kawhi got away with that double dribble. There was another play when he absolutely like Euro stepped to 4-5. Still, like I don't know what the hell was going on. Again, I would give them the benefit of the doubt at 3 steps because he was still collecting the ball and kind of going up. So okay, fine. But
Yeah,
a 4th step with his right foot, and then he was taking his 5th step. He just happened to get rid of it a second before his foot hit the ground on step number 5. And it's
yeah.
like, come on, man, what the hell? And then lastly, I want to complain about the dunk because the next day they were going crazy about that dunk on Pirtle.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah.
but he came charging in like he had, let me make sure I get my bearings right. He was coming in from the left. So he had OG kind of held back, like, elbow length to keep
That's
him
right.
away from being able to swat it, which is fine. Um, but he fully went up with his knee extended into Jakob. And what's Pirtle supposed to do? Like, I don't even think Pirtle punked off. He stood there, but he was forced backwards because
Yeah,
Kawhi's knee was like out in front. So it was like the knee made contact with with Jakob Pirtle's chest, and then
you got it.
he got pushed back out of the shot. Like it was so silly to see. And then the next day they're going highlight dunk. Oh man, Jakob got posterized. I'm like,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah,
guys,
yeah, yeah. No,
you're
that's a street ball move. That's a hey, I'm coming down the lane in case I get a clothesline. But yeah, once again, you got which you see when you're a superstar, those are the things you sort of get away with. But playoff time, that wouldn't happen. You know what I mean? That's when you send in your second round player to do a hey, go get me 3 fouls.
yeah, true. Well, I just thought because this year they've been really on those types of fouls, like your space for landing, and they've even been aggressive if you are the offensive player and you're too, you know, forceful in your landing in the defender's space. They've been calling those, I see. So anyway, I don't know. That's why that one was upset. It was the combo. Like he's going at Jakob to potentially hurt him. Like Jakob's a big dude, and so really, and these are all grown men and all that stuff. So I'm not really saying that he was in jeopardy necessarily of being injured. But Kawhi was coming fast, and to have a Kawhi Leonard's knee, in your
Oh yeah,
yeah, like
and he's not a small dude, 6'8". That's a big knee coming. So you're
yeah,
right. You're
and he
totally
was
right.
going full speed, and then
And
the
he's
combo of no call. And then the next day, humiliation of everyone on ESPN talking about Jakob getting posterized. I'm like, nobody's going to comment that this dude practically kneed him over. But anyway,
yeah, actually ran him over. Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Shoot.
All right, I'll shut up. Actually, before we move on to the Nugget, or sorry, maybe we'll talk about the Lakers game. I just wanted to know if you wanted to crowbar anything else in about Van Vliet, just how calm and cool and collected he seemed to be too. And he's like, not only was he making those statements, they were clearly premeditated. I just wondered if you wanted to.
Yeah, well, like you said, it looked like pressure bust pipes. You know what I mean? It's like but the way he how can we say it? The way he went about it, you know what I mean, was more of a sophisticated way about it. Most guys would have just vented and blew up, but it's like he said, you know what? I'm in my lane. I know I'm getting a fine, so you're gonna hold this right now. I'm gonna let you know how I feel. You know what I mean? In so much words. And you know what? Hey, they're gonna make a little fuss about it. I don't care. You know what I mean? It has to be said. Basically, it looked like one of those, like when you've been messing around too long, and your parents been telling you to stop playing around. Enough is enough. I think Van Vliet That's enough is enough.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I like that. Yeah, no, I agree. And that was the funny thing. That was the interesting thing about the U.S. Response on ESPN and some of the other ones. I saw Greeny in the morning. I don't know what his show's called, but the one that's before Stephen A. Smith's show. He sometimes hauls Stephen A. And oh man, what the heck? He had Brian Windhorst on, and he had um, oh no, who was it? One of the players. It wasn't Richard Jefferson. No, oh no, Perk. I think Perk might have been on with him, Perkins,
Okay.
in the morning. But his comment was, he was just like, "I've been covering the NBA for like 25 plus years." He goes, I've never heard anybody this directly criticize the refs and naming specific players." And so yeah, it was a little bit over the top, but probably you're right. The pipes are going to burst because the game before it was Scotty Barnes getting kicked out in the last. Was it third quarter that Scott? No, it wasn't. It was like 1 point difference towards the end of the fourth quarter, and Scotty Barnes gets
From the fourth quarter, that's right. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And I was watching that whole game feeling like we were handling them. Like we really played well in the first quarter, and what we managed to maintain it in the second and third, which is usually not the Raptors' MO. We usually
Right.
one of those quarters we get eviscerated, and then we have to come back from 15.
And then we gotta
Yeah,
fight through the struggles. You got it.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
right.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Did you think they
Yeah,
could have
yeah.
won that one?
And at that time, I think we were down 3 games to be 500. So I think those guys were doing, hey, those were 2 important games to get it because we're close to that 500. You know what I mean? That
Mhm.
500 marker. I think we're what, 5 games behind now, 4 games, something
That
like
sounds
that.
right.
So,
Yep.
with that being said, like I said, these games are very coming. We're coming down to the stretch, basically, when you look at it, right? And so these guys, it's like, hey, pull up the socks. Let's see what we could do.
Yeah, I think that I don't know what they're going to do because even like so they lose that one. Sadly, maybe it was because of Barnes being taken out, but still they lost.
Yeah,
I think we could have beat the Clippers, same type of thing, but obviously they were in their heads, and nobody on the Clippers being called for anything. And plus, though, actually, who's that guard, man? He friggin' made a statement in that fourth quarter when they finally kind of realized they got to get Westbrook out of there. Blake or Baines or something. Oh, I think it begins with a B. I can't remember what the heck that guy. Anyway, that guy killed us
yeah.
almost single-handedly in the fourth quarter against the Clippers. And then we get a Lakers team on Friday with no LeBron, and we can't do anything there either. Like, what the heck, guys?
Siakam with what 37 minutes and only 12 points.
Yeah,
Come on.
right.
Hello, did somebody not change your diaper? Sorry, I'm calling you out, sir.
That's funny. That would probably be a messy diaper too. That guy's a tall guy. Um, Yeah, no, and it's like I don't know why we can't get ourselves in like cohesion because I think even maybe OG was doing some decent things that game, but
OG 38 minutes and 31 points. He was
yeah,
on point.
yeah,
But
yeah, yeah,
we need guys in harmony though. You know what I mean? It can't be a one-man band. It can't be a hey, today I'm gonna score 30 points. Yeah, we would rather, like you said, Siakam with 25, OG with 20, Van Fleet with, you know what I mean,
mhm,
21 and 10 assists. Hey, let's get it going. But when one guy's crying for calls, the other one's having a bad game, we got to be consistent, bottom line. You know what I mean?
yes,
And then you're on a little losing streak. Hey, every guys, listen, man, let's share the sugar. Because once again, I've noticed a lot of, for me, it's one-on-one ball. They do 1-2 passes, and then the one guy on the edge is trying to beat the guy going down. What happened to the 1, 2, 3, 4 passes? Make that one extra person who's being lazy or doesn't want to shift on defense and then attacking that person. You know what I mean? So
I wish we could get back to that. That's where we had that little streak of games where we won whatever that was, 5 of 7 or
thank you. Y'all making me take off my hat. Thank you.
yeah.
That's why I brought
No,
it up.
that's what we were doing in there. That's what we were doing in there.
Jeez.
I don't know why we can't get back to it. So, okay, I'm going to throw a curveball at you because I was thinking of talking about the game tonight against Denver. But tying into that, they actually announced, I forgot this until just a couple seconds ago, that Nick Nurse has kind of come out and said now Will Barton is going to be our backup point guard. So what do you think of that statement? Maybe let's just ask that first, and then I got two others that he commented that we might see tonight. So
well, it's about show and prove. Obviously, they gave him a try and on the Raptors during the squad, and he must have impressed somebody out there. So if he's doing something in the locker room and in practice, hey, let's see that we need somebody to come out and shine. So hey, if we got a guy that looks like he wants to put in some work, hey, let's give him a little piece. Why not? We got 48 minutes. Give him 5.
right. Yeah, no, I mean, I do feel bad for Red Van Vliet, Mr. Malachi Flynn, because he's just getting shafted, and I think Nick Nurse kind of messed with his head, but he's probably not going to recover, and at least not going to be a true backup for the Raptors anytime soon. Maybe he'll go somewhere else and become like a Corey Joseph or whatever, and to get or even actually Buddy on the Wizards. Why am I going off on a tangent? Because I can never remember anyone's name, but he actually had a pretty decent game against us when we played the Wizards the other day. That taller point guard that we used to have back in the CJ Miles days. I think we traded him for Jonas Valanciunas.
What's his name's cousin? I know who you're talking. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Damn. Anyway, sorry. I shouldn't even have gone down that road because we're not prepared, and I am the worst at names. I'm never going to pull it out. But so the other thing that that Nick Nurse said with the because it was even looking like actually Doughton Jr. was going to maybe be our backup, but Will Barton is the man. So anyway, yeah, I hope he can hit some threes and do what they brought him in hoping he could do. But Precious Achua was the other thing Nick Nurse said, is that he doesn't think Precious Achua maybe is a backup center. I think he's going to put him in, but I don't know where he's going to put him, because when he comes off the bench with Boucher is the power forward then, isn't he?
Yes, Boucher is the power forward, and he and Precious would be the center. You got it. Yeah.
So, but do you think Precious then, are they going to all move down and Boucher is going to become the small forward? And I don't know if Chris Boucher, hold on, let me see if I can pull it up here quickly. They have their heights on here. Precious is 6'8". Boucher is 6'9". Yeah, so that would be weird to have a shorter guy in a smaller position. Anyway, I don't know. I'm curious because, the implication of what I heard at least was that Koloko might now come off the bench to relieve Jakob Poeltl instead of Precious.
Okay.
And be a true backup center, which I kind of like. I
like that. I was actually saying that when he first came too. I was like, okay, we have that, and then I was even saying because Precious is a little more mobile than those two guys. You know what I mean? So that's why I was saying to use him as a power forward. You know what I mean? Just because he shoots the three and he dribbles the ball down the court. And I noticed they let him dribble. And I'm like, why is this? But they let him bring it down. Hey, why not?
Yeah, I don't know what to like. It's funny. I when we had the bench mob happening, practically Dwayne Casey would take the starters, sit them, and the other backup 5 would come on.
That's right. Yeah.
I wasn't the worst, but I sort of like what Nurse is doing a tiny bit, where he kind of slowly brings some of them in, but he's clearly doing that because he does not trust his rotation at all. He wants to have his 5 starters out there the whole game if he could, which I think has created some of our problems, because I think it's messing with Gary Trent Jr.'s head as well. But do you think then that would work if they just did, or do you have a preference of them slowly putting pieces in, or would it be like, okay, so our starters are Jakob Poeltl, Fred VanVleet, Scotty Barnes, Pascal Siakam, and OG, and then we're gonna just wipe those guys out and have Will Barton or whatever, Gary Trent Jr., Precious, Boucher, and Koloko now just come in and swap out?
So
I don't know. What are your thoughts?
And that's been another thing with the Raptors, which I don't like. I think Nick Nurse very well sucks on seeing a guy go down. I've seen it multiple times. For example, once again, I'll call it Van Fleet. He'll go down, play sucky defense after he just missed a shot, and then come down, turn over the ball again, run down, and then get a foul. I'm like, listen, that's 4 possessions right there. In my book, that's how I look at it. That's 4 possessions that could have been in our advantage that one player gave up. And you're coming off the damn court and wake up. You know what I mean? So I notice he gives guys a bit too much more leash. Let's just put it that way. You know what I mean? I'd be walking with a more tighter leash, basically. And I ain't saying that, hey, if you make a mistake, you're getting taken off. But when possessions are tight, and you know there are Raptor games, I think we've lost probably over 10 games within a 5 or 6 point game.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And those would be magnificent to have right now where we're standing. So, like I said, does he need to tighten it up a little? I think so.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I'm conflicted, I have to say, because there's times when, and I forgot his name again. Of course, I've already admitted I'm bad at names, but we give that other guy, the Joe Wieskamp guy, a contract. He pops into one game, hits 3, or no, maybe it was, yeah, he hit 3 threes and missed one little layup, and even that was really, forgive me, and he probably, because he rides the bench too often, he wasn't thinking, the defender just hustled back, and so he did way too soft of a layup, and the defender came and bounced it off the backboard before it got in, so that was his one miss. But then we don't see him again, and this is the part that confuses me with Nurse. Like, even the scenario we were describing where, okay, those 5 sit and then the other 5 come in, but then all of a sudden the Thad Young gets thrown in. Like, I don't know. It's not consistent. It confuses me. And I know I'm not right, because other NBA teams are not necessarily going 11, 12 people deep, and you got to be
got it.
Playoff, or you're not going to go that deep. But I don't know. I just don't like the inconsistent. I think it's got to be confusing for a player. I know they're supposed to be next man up and all that stuff. I get it, but we are humans, and I don't know. Anyway, maybe I'm just rambling.
No, but you're right, because hey, like you said, Gary Trent will be scoring 28 points, and then hey, you don't see him the next game. Like that would be like, you're supposed to reward a guy. Hey, a guy just went out, he's hot. Hey, you want to keep him up, because the game is part psychological. You know what I mean? If a guy is down, you're gonna see it down. If he misses takes 10 shots and misses 8, you're gonna see it in his face. You know what I mean? When you're hot, you can see the guys, they get a little chip on the shoulder. You know, and we talk about this all the time. For example, let's use LeBron. Me and my wife argue all the time. She keeps saying, LeBron's so cocky. He walks around with such an S on his chest. And I'm like, he's not cocky. The man is just confident. He just knows he can get the damn bucket in the ball in the damn bucket, and he's confident doing it. There's a difference between, if he was sitting there tooting his horn all day long saying, sometimes he does have some statements that he you know what I mean, toots his own horn. But if you're that confident, you know what I mean. But that's a whole other argument anyway.
Yeah, no, he's delivering the goods, but
that's right.
Yeah, no, I think that it messes with them. I think, like, Gary Trent's you brought him up. I think he might be, I don't know, toast is maybe too strong of a word. I know he can recover. I hope he's mentally tough enough, but I think it does mess with him. And that's why ultimately, actually, what I think the solution is, I think we got to sign and trade Van Vliet this summer and bounce him out of here. Yeah, he's not consistent enough. I think he's too short in this era, whatever. I hate seeing him get stuffed, as I've told you, but I think the Raptors just particularly have an issue where we've got some people that are kind of conflicted over who should be bringing the ball up and who, and we're sort of a positionless team anyway. So I think if we've got Scotty Barnes bringing the ball up, we could then have Gary Trent Jr. start, and then OG, Pascal, and Jakob, that starting unit that actually could play together, be together, grow together. Be a deep play. Like, we all know they should. Scotty should easily be averaging 19. Okay, maybe if he's going to bring the ball up the floor, he shifts a little bit and goes to like 11, 12 assists a game, or whatever, 7, 8, 9, 11, 12 assists a game, and ends up maybe only with 14 or something, which would be fine, because Gary Trent could sit there and bring us 22 to 25. OG should be getting close to 25, 27. Pascal, same thing. And Jakob could just clean up the glass and get his 12.
And you know, I don't mean to scorch Van Vliet again, but I think that's another problem. I know everybody wants to be a scorer, but I'm like, listen, your team has guys that want to score. And hey, playing basketball and coaching it, I know how it is. You want to it feels good to wake up in the morning and see the news saying, hey, he dropped 36 and 10 dimes on them. You know what I mean? But right now we got guys on the team. It's better you build your team's morale. If I was Van Fleet, I would want to be dropping 15 dimes a game. You know what I mean? Because if my boys get the numbers and they're feeling good, then hey, my numbers will come eventually. You know what I mean? Because hey, I can know that hey, I trust him going down the lane. I trust him, hey, that on the fast break, that hey, he knows now this guy is a threat. They're gonna do a hey, they're double teaming him. So what? I'm the open guy now for that three. That's how we're but once again, it has to be a consistency game with these guys. And what happens is, like I said, one guy is fouled out, the next guy is in his foul mode, the other guy ends up being cold. And it's like that same three things that I just talked about. It's like every game it shifts to a next player. The next player will be cold. Then the other player is arguing with the ref. You know what I mean? Cut out this crap and let's play some basketball, Raptors. You got what it takes. You just got to gel it together and make it work.
Yes. No, I agree. There's nothing worse than an empty Fred VanVleet either dribble drive and early in the shot clock he gets stuffed, or he does a pull-up three and it's like
that's the one that kills me. The pull-up three with 21 seconds still left on the shot clock. Like what the hell?
And he's like, oh hey guys, how you doing? Whoop. And you're like, Fred, what the hell, man? Like climb up. Because as I always say when I'm sitting at home watching, I'm yelling at the TV going, I can miss threes all day long. Put me in there. I'd be way cheaper than Fred VanVleet.
Listen, ask my wife exactly what I tell my wife. I'm like, yo, I told the general manager when I seen him, I was like, for $500 US, I would pop that shot all day, and I tell you, I'll make more of those.
Yeah, well, I'm not saying I could make more, but I could definitely miss all day long, and so that's what Fred's gonna do. Like, what's
the numbers he's putting up? I'm saying I can average it, and I'm saving the millions.
Right. Well, and then that's the other side thing. I know we got to get out of here, but you mentioned earlier possessions, and then we're talking right now about wasted possessions. It blows my mind when I was looking at some actual stats recently. Even on my other each game one, I've been like going through the shot attempts, the field goal attempts.
Yeah,
we kill other teams. Like we're like 15 sometimes more shot attempts than
more
that.
shot attempts. Yeah.
How are we losing by 4, by 6? Like that's where it just starts to get depressing. Like
that's where it gets, because you're doing it. Like I told you, they have all the things. When you look at it, you're like, hold on a minute, we're getting that much more attempts. But then you look at the other side, we're lacking in rebounds, stuff like, you know what I mean? And that's where it equates out sort of. So, and then turnovers, you know what I mean? That's another part. But
shooting percentage, that's where we're getting killed, which is why I am happy that we got the movie star Hernan Gomez out of there, because he was one just coming into games, and he'd be getting like 12, 14 minutes and just have zeros all along his stat line. At least hopefully oh my gosh, I was just about to say his name and I was worried I was going to get it wrong. Darn it, I was going to get it right. Will Barton. I was going to say hopefully Will Barton can get that. All right, so what happens tonight? Raptors Nuggets. What are your thoughts on that game? Do we pull out a victory? And then I don't know if you want to comment on the rest of the week.
Well, you know what? The Raptors need to pull up the socks now, or like we need one, and this would be a good one to get back some morale and stuff. So let's see. Hopefully they're gonna watch our feed and get pissed off and say, you know what? Here comes a W for the boys.
Exactly. Yeah, because then I mean it's not getting any easier. OKC, I don't know. When I look at the standings, I'm always shocked at how low they are. But actually, I think they're creeping their way up the Western Conference. But Shea Gillis is killing it, and they seem to kill us. And then we play the T-Wolves on Saturday. So,
yeah.
All right. Well, it should be an interesting week. I agree with you. We need all the wins we could possibly get. I'm gonna quickly double check the standings here, even though I'm sure anybody watching already is aware. But oh my God, yeah, we're in the play-in, on the bad side of the play-in. We're sitting number 9, game and a half behind Atlanta, 4 games behind Miami. Like, oh man, we're probably not.
That's what I'm saying. And why can't we? Right now we're in, I think, a 4-game losing streak. Why can't it be a 4-game winning streak?
Yeah, I agree. That's what we need. Oh boy. All right, my friend. Well, thank you very much. Great talking to you again, as always. Thank you, people out here watching. I'm going to take a wild guess here. I've been getting it right a couple times, but I don't know. Subscribe, check out our other Raptors in black and white videos, and please share with a friend. We got our most views on any videos last edition episode or whatever that we did, so we really appreciate the support. And but hit us with a
And
comment.
send us some comments, people. Don't forget to comment as well.
Right, comments. Say, listen, Slang, shut up. We want to hear more head swag.
Yeah,
Or
please tell me, hey, take off my hat. You want to see my hair, whatever, something, please.
exactly, yeah. Give us some constructive criticism, and we will take it to heart and try and make this thing better. But we appreciate the support, and all right, see you guys next Sunday.